Welcome to Open TTD. This is a tutorial on how to play because this game is excessively old that you have to buy a tutorial book. So this is a YouTube video explaining how to play this. So when you first, it's free on Steam by the way. And it's still being updated, so this game is very old. So this game is about making money via transportation. Now when you first load the game, it'll look like this. I'm not the biggest fan of this look. So what I do is I go to, you want to go to game options, and so there's going to be a basic graphics. I have one installed, but I'm going to show you how to get this. So to get this, you need to go to check online content, and then once you do this, you just type in the mod pack or the texture pack, and you have that. There are sound packs, there are texture packs, there are just mods that'll help the game run too, like different things like oil runners and different other structures and all that. So the one I'm gonna use is ZBase, is base graphics ZBase. That's mine. I use this one, and then to apply it, once you've installed it, you just click base graphics set, and then you click ZBase, and now it's set. Now when you leave this game options tab by clicking the X, it will change, and this is what it looks like. So another setting I changed because of the size of the UI. I go to game options, I go to interface size, I do that double sized, and then I make the font size double size, because otherwise it just looks really weird. Now you're left off with this beautiful big screen. And if you don't already have it checked, you should probably check full, because I'm pretty sure it launches without full screen. Alright, so let's get into an actual game here. We click new game, and we get to pick. By the way, this is really big by itself, so I'm just, for tutorial purposes, 64. And I'm not gonna mess with this right now, but this is how you change the way your place will be generated. So these are the edges. So you got water, so let's just do northwest water generate. Now we're here. This is our world. To pan around the world, you hold right click, and just the zoom in, you scroll wheel. Now there are shortcuts, but I'm not gonna get to those in here. So in order to start making quote-unquote money, you need to start transporting people. Now the most expensive way is to, I think, railroad it. Now railroading is expensive, but it's faster than normal, so I'm gonna do railroading first. So in order to get a railroad up, you need to go to this tab right here. You just click on it, left click, and then you left click on the station. This is a station. You have two orientations of where you want it because they handle everything. Now I'm gonna build it here. So yeah, every tile the gray or purple is in, that is how much people it will get. And this is where you change the number of tracks. So if I were to change this to 1 and 1, it's a 1 by 1. Now if I change the number of tracks to 7, it's a very wide platform. Now if I change it to 7 and 7, it's just a massive thing. Now I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna stick off with a normal 1 by 2 station. So this is our station. This is our station. Now that we have a station at this Slenwell, we need to make one up here. So we'll do the same thing. We're just gonna place that down right there. As many place buildings as you can get in the radius of the gray. Now it's not gonna pop up, so when you first launch the game, it's gonna look like this. To get the highlight, you wanna press on below the drag and drop the number of things that'll show it. So now what we need to do is we need to connect them. To do that, you can either individually select these ones, which allow you to individually rotate because of the camera's view. Now this one's just like a free-for-all. It builds wherever you want. So if you just click here and then you drag down, it'll build all that. ramps cannot go uphill. So if you try building a ramp up a hill, it will not work. So to fix that, you just cancel the ramp and you go straight. And now we have hooked this up. We need an actual train on it. Now, in order to get a train on this, you need to build a depot. You can place these pretty much anywhere in your track and it'll work. Now I'm gonna place it here because it makes the most sense in my opinion. Now to get a train, this is where some other YouTubers made it a little more confusing. You want to click on the depot. This building, right? Not the station, the depot. If I click on the depot, there is a train depot up. This is make it clone your train. Sell your train. So you press new vehicle and you buy a train. Now for tutorial purposes, I'm going to buy the cheapest one, which is the first one, the Kirby Paul tank. Now that we bought it, it's in our thing, and this is it right here. This is the train. But it's also in our depot. So this is where we can see what's attached to it and if we want to sell it or launch it. So now if we want passengers on it, we need to buy a passenger car. Now if you were to buy another train, there's 2 train windows now that pop up. So if you want to move a cart from a different train, you just drag and drop it. It's very simple. Now if you want to sell something, you just drag it over to one of these or this. So this drops the individual thing that you're dragging, and this button sells the whole train. And this button sells all the trains. So we're gonna get our passengers back, and depending on what you want to mail around, you can mail steel, wood, livestock, oil, coal. You want to get that specific cart, otherwise it won't transport it. So now that we have a train, we could close out of this tab and the depots tab. We want to look at that trains tab. Now we want to press this arrow, which is the orders. Now we have the train 1s, or the first train, or the train we have right here. We have its orders. So in order to tell it where to go, we want to press this go to button. This makes the orders. So we want to click on the station that we want it to go, and now it's in the orders. And then we click on the next station, and then it'll go there, and then this end of orders means it'll like go, it's like a loop. It goes back up to first. So first, second, and then loop. So first, second, first, second, first, second, first, second. It'll always be doing that. So now we have a train. It'll go. So if we press this button, or if we open up the depot and we press this button, or this button. There's many buttons you can press to start the train, but we're gonna press the main train one because you would normally have that up right now. And now it's going. So when a train leaves its station, it has to arrive at all the stations. That is what this is right here. So it doesn't have any passengers on it right now because the city just figured out that there's a station there, and that's causing people to now start going there. So while we get it to go over here, now this city has just figured out that there's a station here. People will now start going there. So if you look back down here, now that the people know that there's something down here, there's 9 passengers waiting. And up here, because it was just discovered, there's 2. So when the train comes down here, it will pick the passengers up, 13 of them. And now that they're boarded along the train, they will now go. Now I'm not going to get into complicated train systems now because this is just a beginner's guide. If you want that stuff, please let me know and leave it down in the comments. And so yeah, it'll drop off the passengers and pick up more passengers. There is a limit to how many passengers a cart can have. I'm not 100% sure of what it can hold. But yeah, every time you deliver people or anything, you gain money. Or like a product. You can't deliver a raw mineral and get money for that. You need to turn it into something delivered to a city, and then you're done. That's how you gain money. the quickest and fastest way to gain money is if you have a coal deposit, which is this, or no, it's not this. I might not have one. No, it's this right here, a coal mine. The quickest, the best way to get money is using a coal mine and a power plant. Basically, you can have a train from the coal mine down to the power plant, and it makes tons of money for you really quickly in the early game. A good way to start out is to go into your loans, which is this, and you'll see right here, this is what we have to pay, or this is what our loan is right now. Now we can repay or borrow. Now a good way to start off the game is if you borrow a lot of money. So this is your money amount, and yeah. Here are a few keybinds that are absolutely necessary for getting good or like playing this game a lot. Tab speeds the game up. You have to hold it though. Yeah, and then this is our first encounter with the train breaking. The train is broken down right now. Now you don't need to freak out when that happens. It'll fix itself and continue on its journey. The reason why that's bad, and it happens more than what you think, is because if you had another train on this railroad, it wouldn't stop. It would just run into them, and the two trains would then be dead and would not function anymore. Now, when the train breaks down enough, or is at a line of reliability is really low, it'll stop running, or like it'll keep increasingly raise the amount of times it breaks down. Now this right here is your reliability, and this is a profit of the year. So there is a limit to years, but it can keep going over their limit. The reliability will literally be 0%, and the train will break down at like every 5 seconds. It's crazy. So in order to fix that, you're gonna have to trade out your trains every now and then. So you don't really want to grow too much attached to them. And yeah, that is kind of the whole gist of trains. Now here's some more keybinds. You already know, right click is pan, scroll is zoom. Now if you have like an absolute ton of tabs open that you just really want to get rid of, there's a really easy way to do that. Now all you need to do is you press the delete button on your keyboard, and it closes every single tab on your keyboard. Now when you get on to later games, you're gonna research, or your people are going to research as time goes on. Right now it's 1951, January 4th. And time will progressively gain, and every time it's basically kind of it's really realistic on the time way, because things come out as time goes on, like a new train, or like new vehicles and ways of transportation. There are airplanes, there's boats, and there's cars. And a way to not really a way to get them faster. You can hold down it, but that's not too much faster. Now you can just forever without needing to hold tab down by just pressing on it. And there is now the way to get while you research things, there's gonna be like electric trains. Those don't run on basic rails, which is what this is. Now in order to get the rails, you need to hold down on the rail icon. It'll give you the railroad construction, like electrified railroad, monorail, and then maglev construction railroads. Now, because we don't haven't researched any of that stuff, we only have the railroad basic, or like railroad construction itself. That is the train for you, and a keybind to quickly delete or sell something is by D. D on your keyboard brings up a bomb, and it will delete or trash an item. Now I'm gonna fix that before our train goes nuts. Other keybinds on your keyboard, like A, it brings up the free-for-all rail, or however you want to name it, and then W is landscaping, and S is more complicated railroad stuff, which I'll get into a potentially future video. let's talk about vehicles or cars. So you need to, you really just need to get a station, and the station can be placed almost anywhere. You want to place it again in the city, as many stops or houses as you can get, and then once you do that, you need to connect the two houses. Now, unlike the railroad, it doesn't diagonally build, so this is our road connecting the two. Now, the bus station and railroad station are almost exactly the same. Things research over time, and you need to build different things. Now, you can't do anything with like electricity, but we still need a depot, just like the train. So again, you just press on the depot. There is construction going outside, so I hope you don't mind that. So then let's just get a bus. We have a bus now. Now, unlike the trains, you can't stack a car onto it. So it's the same thing with a truck. Initially, you just give it an order. Now, this time, instead of clicking on like a train station, you need to click on the actual station. Now, pay attention to this message right here. Can't insert new order, vehicle can't go to this station. That's because I'm using a bus, and I'm using a transportation goods station. Now what you actually need is a bus station orientation, which is the first one to the left. And yeah, that's pretty important. I know quite a few people that do that. So then you just make your order to the bus station. Now this one's also going to be a wrong item. So now we just do this, we got our order, and now we can press the wild stop button. Now it's going. That's the speed of it, and this is the details. If you press this paper icon on anything, it'll show you the thing or details of it. So now that the bus is done with the first order, people now know that there's theirs. Now they're going to there. Now that they're, yeah, so it's the same thing with the train, except road, and the train is way faster but more expensive. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. Now let's talk about water. Now, you really can't use it unless you have like a city directly onto the ground. Because it's the same thing. You need a town in it. Like, you need to build in the gray or purple area. And then you need to build like the pot, which you can just build on the water itself. And then you need to build like, this is just like a entrance to water. And then you just build on the land for water. That's how you get like land things, water. But if you don't really have like a good spawner next to a water, don't really mess with those. And it's the same thing with a car and a train, just different depots that you need to click on. Airports are not the best. They're a little expensive and they're not really good, period. So the same thing, highlighted area. So instead of those, you don't need to build a depot. This is the depot. It comes with the airport when you build it. So when you click on it, you click new aircraft, and then you just buy one. Fortunately, I don't have enough money right now, so I'll just borrow more of a loan. And now that I have more money, I'm going to buy this, and the game won't stop me because I can't do crap about it. So you need to press the airport, and then you need to click on the other airport, and then once that's done, you click go. It's probably the most simplistic, but it's not the best. I think this game's whole intention is almost completely around trains, because like the game it has so many things for you to do with trains: tunnels, bridges, and stoplights, which will be in advanced railroad videos coming out in the future. So those are all the four basic traveling components. They all make you money. This game is a very slow-paced game, so you have to have a lot of patience. These buttons up here allow you to manage your vehicles out. So like, yeah, this is the trains, bus, and car. And then you have your industries and all that, which I don't have anything working right now because that'll be in a future video. So that's how you start getting money in Open TTD. Remember, this game is free on Steam and it's pretty good. It's really old and it's still being updated. So if you want a legendary game, it's Open TTD. It's basic, fun, and just overall great. See you in the next video. I hope this helped. And yeah, see you next time.